Smorgasbord Radio Show.
Hello, everybody. This is the Smorgasbord Radio Show, the SmorgShow podcast, episode 146. And this is your host, Chris. And in the studio with me after several months, he's back, the chief conspiracy correspondent, Jerome Velasquez.
Woohoo!
Welcome back, Jerome. How's it going?
Can't complain.
Sure you can.
Well, I can, but nobody would listen.
That's right.
So I know you're not going to listen to me, so just leave it alone. But no, it's wonderful being back in the dungeon. I mean the studio.
You're captive for the next half hour or so. You know, the last several episodes we've been doing kind of a best of. We're leading up to our 40th anniversary, and I've kind of been stale with the new material for the last month or two. So we've just been bringing back sort of like old bits, but putting them into a new theme, like packaging them together and calling it a theme. Like last week or last episode, we had the medical
health issues,
and then we had the suicides in India. You know, so we've been keeping it fresh in some ways, and some people haven't gone back to those earlier episodes, so they might be hearing them for the first time. But that's sort of what we've been doing. And then, of course, September is our 40th anniversary of doing this in one form or another. And I do not have an idea for it yet, but we will have Dave and you here for it.
When you say September, we're talking September for the original Smorg or for the resurrection of it?
No, 40 years ago, September 11th, coincidentally, 1982.
40 years ago today.
Yeah. So we're working on something for that.
Have you been in contact with Dave as far as any ideas?
I have not. I mean, I've talked to him. I've invited him out, and he's got some issues, and he's going to wait. He's going to come out probably late August. And so I think we will do something that whenever he is out here for September, and that will become, I am thinking that we're going to be on track for doing episode 150 for the big. It seems like it's timed out that way at this point.
Okay.
So anyway, we'll see what's happening, but it's a big day. I mean, it's also 40 years of our friendship.
Yeah, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
And we met each other in the Rose Records.
Yeah.
We talked about the story already, but you were shopping for the latest Bruce Springsteen album at the time. And
Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska. It's an uplifting album. And
yeah, the best kind of music if you want to slash your wrists. But yeah. Well, it's ironic because I was telling you about this before that when I was growing up, I used to despise like Led Zeppelin. I thought they were, it's just a burnout band. I hate them. I hate their music. I hate their fans. And I loved Bruce Springsteen. And now over the years with various things happening, some of it doing with the politics of certain artists and such, I've actually become more of a Led Zeppelin fan, and I'm not that much of a Bruce Springsteen fan anymore.
I know.
I flipped.
Well, I saw Robert Plant and Alison Krauss at Millennium Park last month, and
yeah, and you saw that crazy hippie woman dancing in the aisles with her mask on.
Yeah, and you know, I really like the pairing of the two. I was never a huge Led Zeppelin fan, but I think you and I went to see Robert Plant in the late '80s.
Oh, that was great. Of course, unfortunately, we got stuck in a
mudslide.
We went to this place called the Alpine Valley Theater. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was part of the Alpine Valley Resort. It's up in Wisconsin.
What'd they do at that place?
I have no idea, but yeah, we went to see the show, and it was it the Now and Zen tour or whatever?
Yeah, I think
it was the big thing back then is he put a lot of samples into his music, which if you knew Led Zeppelin, he never did anything like that. Of course, they were in the 70s, so they wouldn't have done anything like that. But it was he had kind of updated himself for the 80s, but I still liked a lot of his 80s output. I always thought like Big Log and some of the other stuff that he did on the solo albums was really, I liked his stuff better than anything that came out from Jimmy Page or any other. I thought it was good. So when I saw him in concert, I thought it was a really good concert, and we had a lot of fun. But unfortunately, because it massively rained, I think there during the concert.
During the game, yeah.
And then the whole parking lot, which was just basically grass anyway, just turned into a big.
It was like a mudslide.
It was a mud pit.
And we were like, the wheels were spinning trying to get out of there.
Oh, God. And just, you were trying not to bash into the person in front of you because you didn't have any traction.
And then we're taking it out on Robert Plant. We're Robert Plant.
Screw him. No.
He probably got away in his helicopter.
Oh, of course. But
yeah, so.
Well, worked out better for him than it did for Stevie Ray Vaughan, who also played at the Alabama.
That's right.
And left
about a year later. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty sad because we always thought that Stevie Ray Vaughan was a really good artist that should still be around.
Yeah, he would have had a big future, I think, because he had only been on the scene at least, I don't know,
6 years, 7 years at most at that point. And the thing is, if you ever watch him play guitar, the effortlessness.
Yeah.
I mean, they said he was influenced by I think I see his name, Jimi Hendrix. He was influenced by Jimi Hendrix. But I'd have to say for his acumen at guitar easily matched and probably surpassed Hendrix in my opinion, because he just the abilities, the things he got, and when he played it, it's like it was almost like it was secondhand for me, like I just playing behind him and all this stuff, and he's like, no big deal.
Right? No, he was good.
Yeah.
So why did we get off that tangent? Oh, because I was saying I went to go see Robert Plant, Alison Krauss.
Yes.
And because they had their album in, I think, 2007 was Rising Sand, which won all the awards. And
Rising Sandwich?
Sand.
Okay.
Rising Sand. And now, of course, they came out with a new a follow-up to that end of last year. And so I finally got to see them together. And it was a fantastic show. It was the first concert I've been to since everything locked down. So it was nice to be back in a vibrant atmosphere. And everybody was just really cool. And of course, it took a couple of Led Zeppelin songs, Battle of Evermore and
Levee Breaks.
Oh, yeah, when the levee breaks. And then I started to, people were lighting up about that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that smell.
But good times. And
I kind of, my first concert was nothing like yours, but I went.
First concert since the
COVID,
since opening up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a band from Russia that basically did mostly Chicago covers, Chicago the band. And it was a good show. I actually had a lot of fun, and they were very good at what they did, but I mean, obviously you can't compare it to Robert Plant and what they did there, but it was fun. It was fun.
So this was supposed to be a big weekend for us. We were going to go to Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin.
Leinie Lodge.
Leinenkugel.
Since 1867.
Since 1867. So because we've been wanting to do some sort of a road trip, and my wife is in Texas this weekend, visiting her brother and nephew. And so I stayed behind.
Yeah.
And thought we would do a guys' weekend, and we would go to Chippewa Falls. We'd do a road trip. Well, I tried to find a bed and breakfast
in the area.
Nothing wrong with two men going sharing a bed and breakfast together.
You know, even if you were a progressively minded person and, you thought anything could happen, you'd automatically think we were a gay couple because we,
Oh, yeah.
Two guys at bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Going to Chippewa Falls.
Well, I found a good place. It was a dairy farm about, 30 minutes south of Chippewa Falls. And Chippewa Falls is in the northwestern part of Wisconsin. Probably about 4.5 hours from here, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 4 hours to Green Bay. And so I think, coming up the Madison side, it's about 4.5 hours from here. So we were prepared to do a road trip, but the lady who owned the bed and breakfast was only taking 2-night minimum because the cleaning person
didn't want to clean
didn't
up.
want to just do one night. Yeah. But problem is they didn't have so we wanted to go Friday and Saturday night. They had the Friday night open, but Saturday night wasn't. She's like, we have to take 2 nights. It means I need Thursday night. It's like, well, I don't need Thursday night. So that fell apart. And then I was looking at hotels, and they're outrageous. It's like I couldn't find anything under $250 a night.
Near Chippewa Falls. I mean, what would be?
Yeah, big convention going on.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, so I don't know what was the deal. So anyway, and then with all the gas prices and everything going, it's like I don't know. Maybe we should do something closer to home. So we did.
We did.
We went. We did a road trip yesterday to Rockford and went to a vegan.
Right. We
vegan
should say
pub.
that each day was themed on like whatever, the person, like today, the things we did today was based on your recommendations, and what we did yesterday on Friday, it was based on my recommendations.
Right.
And I got to say, I think it's worked. Both of our recommendations worked out fabulously.
I would agree. They complemented each other one-on-one, and we both enjoyed each other's recommendations.
Right. And in being that, you're going to explain to where we went on Friday again.
Yeah. So Friday it rained all day. So we had two things planned. One that was going to be more indoors related and then more outdoors. So we thought, okay, yesterday was pouring. It was a beautiful week. And of course, yesterday, our big, first day, pouring all day, didn't really let up any else. So we said, all right, let's do the indoor
theme.
Yeah. So we drove about an hour and a half from here, and we went to a vegan restaurant.
It was also a microbrewery.
Yes, and you recommend it because you're a vegan.
Yes, I'm one of the weird ones. Yeah, and but the menu, I think,
Hold that thought. You know what? I want to have some atmospheric music here.
Okay, well, go ahead.
We need to have some. And while we're talking about it, I think I'm going to pour myself another
whiskey.
Sure. I haven't done this in a while. I kind of gave up the hard stuff.
Hey, got to kick the habit.
But
can't handle the hard stuff anymore.
I know. So sorry. Continue.
Well, that's you though. I can totally handle the hard stuff anytime I want. But yeah, we had a theme. I was a theme because I had to go. We went to a restaurant that, of course, I could eat at pretty easily, and it was a brew pub called Pig Mines in Rockford, which I always think is a very interesting name for a place that basically has an all vegan menu. But there you go.
Yeah, and I got some coasters for the studio.
Yeah, it was cool, and they make really good microbrew beer. And their entire menu is plant-based, vegan. So they say this like, I don't know. I like eating burgers, and I don't think I'd like it. But they do a really good job of kind of filling out in that gap. And if you are somebody who likes to have your burger or you had a pizza yesterday, a traditional pizza, right?
I did. And it was a sausage and
cheese and olive, and did it have spinach in it too? Or tomato?
It had some kind of a cheese. They called it mozzarella, but it would have been.
Well, remember, this is still like.
It's all vegan.
Yeah. So
it was a
mozzarella is not going to
substitute of some sort. But if you didn't say it was vegan, I wouldn't know.
See, that's what I'm saying. So they do a really good job.
They've come a long way.
Oh, I can personally test to that fact because I went vegan back in 2005, and I know
much more difficult back then.
Yeah, but even then. If you went vegan back in the 90s, it would have been almost impossible. But yeah, it was really good, and they really do try to keep their quality of their food at top-notch level. That's why I knew if I brought you there, you would not feel dissatisfied with whatever you ordered. And the thing is, I ordered a pizza. A pizza with pineapple on it, which I wouldn't openly admit to in the past because I always thought that pineapple was an abomination on pizza.
It gets a bad rap, for sure.
But I thought, you know what? I've never done it. Let's live a little. Let's throw caution to the wind. Have a little pineapple. Have a little pineapple on my pizza. Why not?
And you were recommending it to other guests.
Yes, and they liked it.
They did.
And they were meat eaters. They had no.
That's right.
When they went
weren't
there,
vegans. No.
They didn't even know they were going to a vegan place, and it's like, oh.
Right, they were driving through, and they pulled off, and they just.
I think they were from Naperville. They said.
Oh yeah.
And they were pleasantly surprised and quite happy with my recommendation. So that was a good night. We also went around downtown Rockford a little bit. We went to an interesting little coffee house cafe or whatever, which was their local roasting. Because you have micro roasters, like you have microbreweries.
Yeah.
And they roast their own beans there, and we had a nice cup of coffee, a little conversation there, and it was nice. I mean, like you said, it was raining, so it kind of put a little damper on it, but overall, it wasn't that bad.
And then today, we did an outdoor theme. We went to near a state park. In Illinois, we have Starved Rock, and they have Matheson Park, which is adjacent to it, and it had more canyons. And normally, and it's really nice, you go down into basically in the depth of the canyon, and it's cool. It's got a river, you got the creek or babbling brook or whatever it was coming off of the waterfall. But today, for whatever reason, that part of the park, the parking lot, was shut down. We had to go to a different parking lot and hike basically 2.5 miles to the site. So we did 2.5 miles up and down, various elevations.
Yeah.
But basically, eventually making it down into a canyon. So basically, you have to climb your way out of that. And so round trip, it was about 5 miles today. And we were working on a protein smoothie at around from 9 o'clock this morning.
That's true. But it was a
lunch.
good one.
Yeah.
It was a good one. Actually, we actually did like two smoothies.
Yeah, I make 2 per serving.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we had that.
It carried us about 7 hours until we went to a nice restaurant in Ottawa, Illinois, a place where Lincoln Douglas debates.
Yeah, and I always thought it was kind of a dead, kind of backward sort of rural town. And we just went there today, and it's like really surprised at like the level of things happening there. I mean, you wouldn't think that from a small town. It's like 18,000 people, not a lot.
Yeah. So all in all, a successful weekend.
I like to think so, yeah.
I needed it. I really needed this. This was, and of course, Jerry's birthday is coming up this coming week. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
By the time this show airs, it would have already passed.
Right.
I think they'll be airing around the 23rd.
The Big 5-7.
Big 5-7. Man, how did you get so old?
I don't know.
I'm right behind you, man.
These kids today just don't know.
But the reason why I needed this is that last week was a tough one for this family.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring us down here, but I think it's probably good to document this for
Posterior?
posterity.
Posterity.
So my daughter Allie and son-in-law Thomas were in a very bad, serious car accident. I guess it's coming up on 2 weeks now. We got a call at 10:30 at night. And so first of all, my phone is usually on the nightstand next to me, and I've got it on emergency settings. So only the people who are in my favorites can call and actually break through that barrier. But if you know the iPhone, in order to get through an emergency, if you're not on that list, you have to call the person twice within 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then you'll get through.
Right.
So whatever reason, I got this call from my son-in-law's phone, and he got through because he was blocked. He wasn't on the favorites list. He's there now. I just forgot to add him. He's new to the family. And it was my daughter, and she said we were just in a car accident. Now, they had just got a new car the previous Friday, Ford Edge. Nice SUV. They were happy. They were out celebrating. They were having dinner. And on the way back from dinner, they get sideswiped by another car who was avoiding another car that was merging into their lane. And so it caused that car to hit their car. And then, of course, the person who initiated the entire thing just took off. They didn't hit anybody. So they're like, not my problem.
Yeah, typical.
And the person hit Allie and Thomas's car, and they went off the road. And they didn't just go off the road. They spun. They
tumbled.
They tumbled.
I tumble for you.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
And it landed right side up. But the good thing is that they landed in a marsh. And I mean, it could have ended in a few different ways. They could have spun out on the highway, and they could have been hit by a semi, or they could have gone into a brick wall or a concrete wall. Many different ways this could have ended, but they ended up in a marsh. And then on top of it, they get this all of a sudden after sitting there, and it's dead quiet. It's dark, pitch dark, and this voice just comes out of nowhere. 911, have you been in an accident? And they're like, where's this voice coming from? It turns out that the feature of the car is like if your phone is connected to Bluetooth, it automatically dials 911. You don't even have to have OnStar or anything, those subscriptions. It's amazing.
Pretty cool.
And, the paramedics were on the scene, I guess, in a few minutes. So they were shell-shocked. They were kind of bruised and cut because of the glass from the windshield. But we told them, regardless, and the paramedics were there and they were testing them out. They said, they seem to be fine. We told them, get to the hospital, get X-rays, CT scan, whatever, because you never know if you've got internal bleeding. Yeah. So they did, and everything checked out fine. And you look at these pictures of the car,
right?
And you just wonder how they made it through. And it's just, it was God was protecting them that night. And there's so many things that could have gone differently, and we're just grateful.
It's good to know they're guardian angels on the job.
Yeah, exactly.
He was not on a coffee break. Do angels have coffee breaks?
Possibly.
I gotta have a cigarette. Oh, you had an accident. Oh, jeez.
Oh, man. Another interruption.
We're gonna never get the timing right. Well, yeah, it's very fortunate. And I'm personally very happy that they basically got away from it unscathed for the most part. Obviously, their car didn't, but they did, which is the more important thing.
Yeah, we kind of joked about it afterwards. They had just bought this new car, and they said, "We're going to get the same one again." It's like the ultimate test drive. You really put it through the test, and it measured up on all levels.
Yeah, you thought it was a Volvo or something, not just a Ford.
Well, that's the other thing. It's a brand new. I mean, not brand new. It was a couple-year-old car, but new to them, and they could have been in their Honda Civic, and I guess you can't make an assumption that the same thing would have happened because maybe they wouldn't have tumbled, maybe it wouldn't have been top-heavy, but they could have been maybe just a different kind of accident. It could have ended differently. You just never know. There's so many different ways to play this out. So you just be thankful of how it did end up.
Mm-hmm.
And the more good news is that their insurance company said that they will be able to, they're getting actually more money than they paid for the car, including, the down payment. So that was the other thing we're worried about, because they put a down payment on it and then you have got the loan. It's like, you hope you can get at least the amount back that you owe to pay off the loan. And then it'd be a bonus to get the money you paid for the down payment. So then you have something to start over with. They got more than both of those combined. So it's like, wow. Yeah. So now,
we can get a better car.
Yeah, they're going to get the same one from a different dealership. So good for them.
Maybe a few more bells and whistles than they had from their original.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, it's good to know. I always like to think that in Ford, it's an American brand. And I like to think that American brands can still put out a quality product. And judging by what happened with this accident, it looks like they have.
Well, amazingly, just yesterday they were over at the junkyard because I guess they were getting, I don't know, maybe the license plates or something to take off there or any last things that they had in there. And the person who ran that junkyard said, "You guys were very lucky because you see that Hummer? That Hummer that's like right next to their car?
Mm-hmm.
That had an accident, I think, the same day or the next day, and that driver didn't make it." Jeez. It's like, you think a Hummer.
Yeah, you would think a Hummer.
So, yeah. So we've got a lot to be thankful for here. And, yeah. Maybe I got some points from being the new barista at my church. I don't know. I'm doing that now. I'm making coffees. I'm smoothies and fraps. Fraps? Do you say frappe? Fraps? I've heard it both ways.
Well, yeah. Because you can't say frappuccino because that's, of course, copyrighted.
That's right. So they've got me started out on the cold brews and the cold drinks.
You know what? I can personally attest that I think that Thomas and Allie has so much good numbers in their comm. I don't think your barista thing really.
I don't think so.
I don't think it pushed it over.
No, I don't think so. I think
they're very good people. They're very devoted.
They've got a lot of They're gonna do some more work for God in this lifetime. I know it,
Sure.
and yeah, I love those kids, and they're just getting started. They've got their new townhouse, and they just got married last September. So yeah, your heart goes out to them as a parent. Just setbacks. Those initial setbacks. You and I had them. Just trying to get your life off the ground. You move out. And you get those expenses one after another. And it's like you think you're ahead and then you get hit with another expense. And it seems like they're in that thing right now that we all go through. And you've got good days, you've got bad days, you've got more prosperous days. And it's life,
Mm-hmm. True. Now that you've got us all bummed out now.
Sorry.
Though, like I said, again, I'm very happy that they got out of the real pickle there.
Yeah.
And came on top. I think you also said that they were having some problems because they've obviously moved to the townhouse, but before they were renting, and the landlord was trying to screw them over a bit, and then that's not going to happen now. It looks like.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, those management companies. You and I have dealt with them.
Let's say that again.
They're terrible. Trying to reach somebody. Oh yeah.
Terrible.
So and so's taking care of this for you. They'll get back to you. And you never hear from them. Yeah, for about a year, they were working with, charges that they didn't know, or credits that they were deserved didn't get. They've got homeowners or renters insurance, and they were getting charged for not having it, and all that sort of thing. And
very corrupt, a bunch of scumbags.
they try to get their security deposit back, and then they get a list of like all these things that they owe because there was damage. It's like, there's no damage. I got video of before and after. You tell me where the damage is.
If I know anything about Thomas and Allie, they probably left the place better than when they first moved in.
Yeah, he's always fixing things because the maintenance people weren't in there, doing what they're supposed to do. It's like you got a leaky faucet or, whatever. It's like eventually I think he was trying to fix things himself because...
Yeah, they weren't doing it.
So they were supposed to owe more than they were supposed to get back. And Allie's like, it's not worth fighting and losing a good credit score over, let's say $300 or whatever. Let's just pay it. Thomas is like, no, we're in the right here. So it's that sort of that thing. It's like, do you go to small claims court for this? Do you write some? Well, apparently they got a phone call from the person, and they're supposedly working on it and saying they actually put it in writing. I think. Don't worry about it. We're taking care of this. So I said, save that. If this goes to collections for whatever reason, you got written, proof that you don't know this money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it really is sad that there's this like level of corruption and just kind of lack of any kind of moral code. I mean, it's like, no, if we can just screw over somebody and we can get away with it, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's like, and then I would think these also be the same people who would complain about, oh, the world sucks today. Why things suck so much? You're part of the problem. You're the problem. You are literally turning everything to an amoral stance. I'm trying to think of the right term, but and then you want to go around and say, okay, well, things suck. Well, the things suck because people are sucking. They're not doing the right thing. So, you want to change the world? Start doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to get off my soapbox now. Oh.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So that's where things
so
are.
let's get light and lively again. We were talking about how wonderful our weekend was. Let's talk about something else that's wonderful. There's got to be something.
Well, yeah. All I got to say is, you came out here for sort of a detox from
the city,
the world, the events. It's like we had a nice couple of days. Now, the challenge is to get back into society and not have it suck the life out of you so quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to detox. You got to stay away from whatever it is that's negative in your life.
That's good advice for anybody, really. But yeah,
it's tough. I know it's tough.
Well, I mean, the thing is there's kind of this full spectrum brainwashing, for lack of a better way of putting it, that's going on with the media, especially social media. It's completely like you said, toxic. It's like a uranium dump. Social media is like that. It's like you walk by it and then you just your hair starts falling out because it's just that toxic.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is, and for me, it's a little bit even more of a problem because I work at a library, and I don't know if people know this. They've gone to the library, or if they're dealing with kids in school, they know that basically the situation in these institutions has become what I would call terminally woke. We're in our library, especially in our youth department, we have things like books about, drag queen kids, and pronoun books and stuff. And like, I swear, if I see another book with a rainbow on it, I think I'm gonna puke. And I don't have anything. I love the LGBT community. I'm not trying to be anti any of that. But there's such a thing as oversaturation of an idea, and I think that is definitely what's been happening in the libraries. I can't speak to how it is with, because I don't have any kids in school and I haven't been to schools, but I've heard it can be kind of similar. Also today I'd gotten that story about a library in Iowa where basically the employees there were so sick of this kind of uber progressive agenda with all the books at the library that they just quit. They all resigned. So they had to shut down the library, which let you know maybe things are going too far in one direction, and maybe we should bring it back to give some sort of equilibrium.
Yeah, pendulum is swinging. It seems in some areas.
I hope so.
Yeah,
because right now I'd say we're kind of in we're a very toxic, insane path, is what I would say.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I was trying to get happy again, and we go back.
I know. What happened? Man, what a downer this episode is. Well, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I mean, there's upside to that story because, like you said, people are changing their minds and they're saying that and they're finding their voice. So the upside of it is that people are finding their voice about things if they feel things are going the wrong way in society and in their country, whatever. They are standing up saying no, we don't want to take it to this extent. And I think that's a good thing. That is a positive thing. So I'm kind of glad that that's happening. But I just in our going around when both were in Rockford and we were in Ottawa, we just ran into some really nice down to earth people that they didn't have purple hair. They weren't trying to get offended if you gave them the wrong pronoun or anything. They were just like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
have a great day. And it worked out fine.
We've had a couple of nice servers the last couple of days, and very much so. And I was able to turn out a charm. After raking them over the coal for not giving you the right avocado spread.
Whatever. Just because nothing happens to your meal, you're gonna sit there and judge me. Okay,
I didn't judge. I'm just stating the facts here, man.
Well, I understand.
Poor girl. She's like just bringing your hamburger out.
What the heck is this? You call this a hamburger?
This isn't the avocado spread I ordered. Everything's wrong.
True. But
this isn't what I ordered. Look, and the brioche. This is a brioche bun. It's got egg. She's like, sorry, man. She took it away. I said, Jerry, man, calm down. It wasn't her fault.
And then I said, I was thinking to myself,
you felt bad.
Please don't spit in my food.
Oh man. Yeah, really, exactly.
Yeah, I'll give you a brioche.
The other poor kid comes out.
Yeah, but I apologize. In fact,
you call him over. I apologize. I'm sorry. And he's like, man, back off your face.
Yeah, no, I said, I know it was. We said it was. I know it wasn't his fault, and it's true because anything I was saying there was really pointed at the people in the kitchen.
You're frustrated with, they got that wrong. I understand. No, you're paying money for something. You want it right.
And
I just felt bad for this girl because she was she was nice. She was friendly. She was talking to us about the town, and
to use a fancy word, she was ebullient.
Oh yeah, that's a college word.
That's a college.
Well, the college of the '80s word. I don't know what they teach now, but
I don't.
No, actually, I didn't learn that word. What does that mean?
Just vivacious, full of life. Just pleasant.
Yeah,
a great pleasantness.
You don't get that often.
Yeah, so she was ebullient. But that's a nice big 25-cent word.
Well, when I recognize that, even though I didn't know the word, I recognize that quality. And when I see it, I will go out of my way to, pay extra for a tip or whatever. I think I gave her like 30% tonight. So.
Yeah.
So you recovered from the.
I apologize.
From the abyss that you were.
I think you're blowing this out a little bit more out of.
Hey, it's comic. It's comedic license.
Great. So that comes at my expense. Okay.
This isn't the avocado spread I ordered.
These are not onions. This is
mellow out, dude. It's an avocado. Can't you eat it like that?
It's not the smashed avocado.
It isn't.
I'll smash it for you. Literally.
And then they didn't have the pickled jalapenos.
My pickled jalapenos missing here. What the heck? This isn't my order.
The only thing they got right was the burger. That was the only thing they got right. Everything else was just completely
the Impossible Burger.
Yeah, that was
Impossible customer.
You SOB. Look. To everyone out there, if you were in my shoes, I think you would have had a level of frustration. Maybe you would have handled it differently, but you would have had a level of frustration.
I know.
I've been there. To what? Yeah. Well, exactly. Now maybe you were like a regular, I don't know, just the most wonderful customer anyway.
Yeah.
But
I was.
Of course you were, because you never do anything wrong.
No, of course not.
You walk on air.
Oh yeah.
But those of us who are, just regular human beings, we sometimes kind of lose it. And so I admit I did, but I did everything utmost to hopefully erase the earlier unpleasantness.
You did.
You
so. Recovered nicely. I will give you that.
I do have those.
And the tip helped too, even though you forgot to sign the check. It's like 20 minutes outside of town. Oh man, I didn't sign the receipt. I'm like, they already charged your credit card, man, so they got your money.
Yeah.
And they're going after the extra 30%. I hate to break it to you. They got it. You don't need your signature. They don't even care about signed checks anymore. I signed a check. I didn't sign a check. I gave a check and they cashed it. It's like, so much for that.
Yeah, well, it's whatever. Well, it's great because we didn't have to make a trek back, and then would have been hearing. There would have been a thing on this podcast like, I can't believe you didn't sign the receipt, you idiot.
Oh, do you think I would do that to you, Ed?
Oh, yes. In a minute. In a heartbeat, you would. For the punchline, you'd do it. You would sacrifice me for a joke in a hot second.
Oh, you know it. There's no turning back, man. You've been with me for 40 years.
Yeah, so you don't think I know? Come on.
You know me better than pretty much anybody.
Well, there's a few people know me better,
in different ways.
But if anybody... People who haven't lived well. We actually did. We were roommates for a year, but outside of that, anybody who hasn't been like a sibling or something, I know you almost like a sibling.
Yeah.
Really, is really what it comes down to.
So you got my number. You know me.
Yeah, I get your number.
Yeah.
But,
so last call here, man.
It sounds like it. I think the piano player's a little drunk. He's playing behind the beat.
The piano
has been drinking, not me.
That's good.
Yeah, well,
Tom Waits, for those who don't know the reference, from Small Change, 1975.
Yeah. Tom Waits.
Well, I don't know.
It's actually surprising the people I run into and I say, "Do you heard of Tom Waits?" And they have heard of Tom Waits, but they really don't know his music. That's just kind of weird. How do you know Tom?
I love Tom Jones.
Tom Jones. By the way, speaking of Tom Jones, to me, and I knew you would disagree with this, but as Robert Plant's gotten older, he reminds me, facially speaking, of Tom Jones. It's like his face is turning into Tom Jones' face.
Oh yeah?
Obviously older Tom Jones. Yeah, and the only difference is it's like Tom Jones got dark brown hair and Robert Plant is blonde, but
blonde,
to me, yeah,
Goldilocks.
Yeah, he's still Goldilocks.
Yeah.
Now, which is interesting because Tom Jones is Welsh, and from what I understand, Robert Plant is very fond of Welsh. He's very fond of Wales and Welsh culture, so maybe that's rubbing off. So it turns him into Tom Jones.
Yeah.
That's the best I can do with a Welsh accent. I mean, who would even know what a Welsh accent sounds like?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I can murder a Scottish accent pretty well.
Well,
on that note,
I don't really have anything else.
Well, I don't know what else we can.
That was pretty good. I mean, for having no material.
Yeah, this is kind of like our Seinfeld episode. We have a show and it's based on nothing.
You know, because we have to keep it going. I must say that
The momentum.
we have had a consistent episode every 2 weeks for this since about December. So I'm really proud of that because we got away from that. We used to be on a weekly cycle, then we moved to a bi-weekly cycle, and then we dropped off of like once a month, whenever we felt like it. And I just feel like ever since like maybe last fall.
You've been letting the audience down. Come on, man.
Yeah. I guess the last thing I'll say here is that we've been migrating our website over from one server to another, from one company to another, because I've had some really frustrating issues with the old company. I won't mention them because, you know, for the most part, they're a good service. I don't want to bash them, but there were a couple of things that I couldn't work with anymore because, I demand certain aspects to my service and I wasn't getting it and I had to move it. And so it's never fun. You know, after being with the same website hosting platform for 12 years, it's difficult to just kind of up and go because you have to worry about, is everything going to work? And I must say that the migration was successful. I don't think we had any outages. I think everything was working properly. This is the first episode that we're pushing to all the platforms, so hopefully that will work. But I did a test episode and it went out to everybody and it worked. So I suspect this one will be the same thing.
I saw it showed up in my YouTube feed.
Perfect. Oh, the test episode?
Yeah.
Oh, you heard that. It was like a 1 minute thing? Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't think it actually, but I just saw it pop up.
Yeah.
I didn't actually listen to it.
Okay. So it worked out. And so the website, actually, I think it's faster. I noticed that I didn't realize this until the end when I was yanking it from one platform. I was on a shared hosting plan. So I was basically sharing other throughput, other bandwidth with other websites. So I did notice it took a long time to refresh our pages and with the lots of videos that are on there. I don't have that anymore. I don't see that anymore. And I think it's better. So, hey, hope you, if you have any problems, email us at feedback@smorgshow.com. That's the other thing I changed. Trying to get to just smorgshow.com instead of smorgshowpodcast.com. It's out there. It still works. It forwards, but smorgshow.com is the real website.
Mm-hmm.
It's the real email address, feedback@smorgshow.com, chris@smorgshow.com. It all works.
Yeah.
So just wanted to say that. All right, man.
And so you did.
I did. Just a little bit of under the hood. Sausage factory. Sausage making.
See how the sausage is being made.
Exactly. All right. Out of the jazz club. So I don't really have anything else.
Well, I mean, if we go and like do anything current events, you just make it a bummer show again. So if we're talking about a personal life, we don't live fantastically. You know, our lives aren't just filled with just one adventure after another. They come and go. So right now we've had a little bit of adventure, which we shared with you, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You know,
That's it.
and you should be happy for that.
That's right. We love you.
We love you. We're sharing with you. We're opening our hearts to you.
Well, thanks, Jerry, for coming out. And we're going to go have a nightcap. Nothing wrong. Two men having a nightcap together after 2 days of bonding on the road.
And a nice podcast to top it off with.
That's right. Thank you so much. All right. Take care, guys. We'll be back in a couple weeks. Hope you enjoyed it. Smorg Show. You know where to find us. Take care.
Peace.